Commencing the reduction of the federal bureaucracy, Executive Order, February 19th, 2025. By the authority vested in me as President by the Constitution and laws of the United States of America, it is hereby ordered. Section 1, Purpose. It is the policy of my administration to drastically reduce the size of the federal government while increasing its accountability to the American people. I like it. This order commences a reduction in its elements of the federal bureaucracy that the President has determined are unnecessary. Reducing the size of the federal government will minimize the government waste and abuse, reduce inflation, and promote American freedom and innovation. Section 2, reducing the scope of the federal bureaucracy. A, the non-statutory components and functions of the following government entities shall be eliminated to the maximum extent consistent with the applicable law, and such entities shall reduce the performance of their statutory functions and associated personnel to the minimum presence and function required by law. 1. The Presidio Trust. 2. The Inter-American Foundation. 3. The United States African Development Foundation. And 4. The United States Institute of Peace. Interesting. B. Within 14 days of the day of this order, the head of each unnecessary government entity listed in subsection A of the section shall submit a report to the Director of Office of Management and Budget, OMB Director, confirming compliance to this order and stating whether the government entity or any components of function thereof are statutorily required and what to extent. C. In reviewing budget requests submitted by the government entities listed in the subsection A of this section, the OMB Director of the head of any executive department or agency charged with reviewing grant requested by such entity shall, to the extent consistent with applicable law and except insofar as necessary to effectuate and expect termination, reject funding requests for such government entities to the extent they are inconsistent with this order. The Presidential Memorandum of November 13, 1961, need for greater coordination of regional and field activities of the government is hereby revoked. The Director of Office Personnel Management, OPM Director, is directed to initiate this process, withdraw with regulation Title V, Part 960, Code of Federal Regulations, thereby eliminating the federal executive boards. Interesting. E. The OPM Director is directed to initiate the process to withdraw the regulations at Title V, Part 362, Subpart D, Code of Federal Regulations, and to take any other steps necessary to promptly terminate the Presidential Management Fellows Program on the effective date of the final regulation promulgated by OPM Director, Executive Order 13318 of November 21st, 2003 is revoked, and Executive Order 13562 of December 27th, 2010 is amended by 1. Striking from Section 2 the words along with Presidential Management Fellows Program as modified herein. 2. Striking Section 5. 3. Striking from Section 6B the words or PMF programs and inserting their place program. Striking from Section 7B3 the words the competitive service of interns, recent graduates, or PMFs, or government-wide combined convention cap applicable to all three categories together, and inserting their place the competitive service of interns or recent graduates, or government-wide combined convention cap applicable to both categories together. And V, or 5, redesignating sections 6, 7, and 8, and 9 as sections 5, 6, 7, and 8 respectively. With, in 14 days F, the date of this order, the following heads of executive departments and agencies shall take the following actions with respect to the following federal advisory committees within their respective agencies. I, the administrator for 1, the Administrator of the United States Agency for the International Development shall terminate the Advisory Committee of the Voluntary Foreign Aid. The 2. The Director of Bureau of Consumer Financial Protection shall terminate the Academic Research Council and Credit Union Advisory Council. 3. The Board of Directors of the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, FDIC, shall terminate the Community Bank Advisory Council. Wow. 4. The Secretary of Health and Human Services shall terminate the Secretary's Advisory Committee on Long COVID. And the Administrator of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services shall terminate the Health Equity Advisory Committee. G. Within 30 days of this day, this order, the Assistant to the President of National Security Affairs, the Assistant to President of Economic Policy, and the Assistant to President for Domestic Policy shall identify and submit to the President in additional any information of government entities and federal advisory committees that should be terminated on the grounds that they are unnecessary. Section 3. General Provisions. A. Nothing in this order shall be construed or impair otherwise affect 1. The authority granted by law to an executive department, agency, or the head thereof, or 2. The functions of the Director of Office of Management and Budget relating to budgetary, administrative, or legislative proposals. B. This order shall be implemented consistent with applicable law and subject to the availability of appropriations. C. This order is not intended to and does not create any right or benefit, substantive or procedural, enforceable at law or in equity by any party against the United States, its departments, agencies, or entities, its officers, employees, or agents, or any other person. The White House, February 19th, 2025.